Dude, Ash. Ouch.
What happened just now? You're sitting on my bed with a ton of pillows. I don't know how you hurt yourself.
Remember how I woke up this morning and you're like, how'd you sleep? I was like, dude, I think I slept weird because my neck hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't how I slept. It was that TikTok I made. I literally, right now, I laid down for 2 seconds. I got up and I was like, I feel like I was in a car crash. Like my neck all the way down my back. I'm like all stiff. And it's because of my freaking TikTok where I was flipping around.
You know how you feel when you come home like the next morning from like a really wild night dancing with your friends and stuff like that? I feel like that's you during quarantine.
Yes.
Every time you do TikTok, like dancing TikTok.
So sad.
But you know what? They have no idea what we're talking about. So we're going to have to proof it with the said TikTok so they can see what we're talking about.
So I'm like laying in bed and I literally was laying there and I was like, dude, what the frick? Like I was considering I need a new pillow. I really need to look into getting a new mattress. Like that's how bad I was hurting. I was like, this is not normal.
Yeah.
And then I was scrolling through my TikTok and my one that I made yesterday pops up where it's what, if you watch TikTok, you know, it's that Sophia the First song plays and people have been putting videos where it's like sing if you think the person's cute. So then all these pictures pop up of like different celebrities, different like whatever. And then you like sing all dramatic when you think they're hot. So that's the one I did. But of course I took it like 1,000 levels and I was like flipping my hair around and like jumping and whatever. And yeah, I'm not okay.
Oh my God. It was like a blur of red hair.
Yeah, dude, I was so into it.
It's really funny. It's a really good video. So we'll definitely post it for you guys.
Yeah,
but I fully understand why you're achy right now.
And I can't go get a massage.
No, you can't do anything. You need to go float. You need to go float in the pool.
I need an ice
That
pack.
fixes. I love how we know when we're wrapping up the intro.
We do. It's funny because you guys listening probably don't hear it, but like Mark has heard it in the studio and then also
So many times.
he edits this so he hears it. It's funny because in the beginning we used to be more intentional about like, okay, we're gonna do a like starting piece, whatever. But now it's kind of, and then we used to like talk in between, remember?
Yeah.
Like we'd stop and we'd talk to each other and be like, okay, are you ready? Like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like, we'll laugh and then we'll be like,
Well,
okay, so anyways.
something that me and Taryn have wanted from the very beginning was to have a very raw podcast.
Yeah.
Like we didn't want a lot of editing and we didn't want it like heavily produced. We just wanted it to feel like you're in a room with your girlfriends just chatting. That was always our vision. That was always our plan. So with that comes those awkward moments when you transition or those weird pauses when you're trying to collect your thoughts, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously if I need a second to gather myself, you know, like I'll say cut, but it's really just piecing those together. We really don't do any edits.
And that's what's crazy is like so many people, because when we first were going to start, we were kind of like reaching out to people and saying like, oh, what's your advice? And a lot of people were like, well, don't be surprised if you have episodes where like you finish it and you're like, that was horrible. Like, we want to
do it again.
Film or not film. What's it called? Record. And we literally, just fun fact, I sound like I'm bragging, but like I don't mean it like that.
Mean, but also like I'm pretty proud of it.
We've never restarted an episode. We've never trashed an episode. We don't really like edit. It's only because we are reading people's stories. I feel like we both like the times where we'll be like, "Hey, Mark, can I restart that?" is when we feel like we butchered your stories. You know what I mean?
Their story that they're trying to share.
And especially when it's like serious and we're over here like like not saying anything English. It's like we'll be like, okay, let me restart because we don't want to take anything away from like the stories coming in. Yeah. So it's usually just that.
Never in my life have I had trouble reading things like this bad. If you guys remember, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this. I know I'm not the only one, but whenever you were in school, specifically like middle school and high school, and you had to do like popcorn reading or you'd go in a circle, I was that kid that would count and see like how many kids there were to find out exactly which paragraph I started so that I could read it beforehand so that I could mentally prepare myself for what I was about to say.
Oh my God.
And it always freaking happened. Like freaking like Susie or whatever would get up and go to the bathroom. And then that means I had to go to the paragraph above and I would have a panic attack.
Dude, it's horrible because you sound, even though like everyone messes up when you're reading.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with your intelligence whatsoever.
Not at all.
You feel dumb. Yeah. Like you just feel dumb. And especially because like when people jumble words or like, you know, like you mix up like the first letter of two words. You know what I'm talking about?
I do that all the time.
It's like it just sounds funny. So then people start giggling and then you start freaking out and you're trying extra hard to read right, which makes everything go wrong. It's just horrible. It's a bad cycle.
It's so bad. And then we also like, we're very aware how annoying it can be when you're listening to a podcast that just keeps restarting or keeps struggling through a story. It's really frustrating to be that listener. So that's when I feel like we'll be like, okay, I'm going to say that again. Or if I just keep messing up, and they're trying to share their heart, especially with the like, serious ones, then I'm like, Mark, I need to start from the top of that again. I'm so sorry.
When we're recording, we're like, Mark, from the top. Let me just restart that sentence. Dude, I think this is totally side note, but it leads well into a tearing it up.
Oh, love that.
Or we can talk about our weeks too.
We can do
I don't want to like
whatever.
rush us. I think the most embarrassing word fumble I've ever had, and I might have said this already because I'm having deja vu, but I have deja vu all the time. I was leading worship and it was a song that like the last word of the sentence, the first time around said heart and the second time around said fire. So I sang fart.
And can everyone please picture this in like a pretty decent sized church, like a lot of people that also does live streams and records everything.
I literally was like, I sang it and I like had my eyes closed because I was like worshiping and I was like, you did not just sing
all for Jesus.
Fart. I felt so dumb, but
Crazy.
I was like, maybe no one heard it. I remember asking the worship pastor afterwards. I was like, did you hear me say fart? And he was like, what? You said what?
That's so good.
Anywho, how's your week? Before we get into tearing it up.
Week was great. And I'm going to tell you why. Literally a week ago, because we're recording this on a Friday.
About a week ago.
Last Friday, I finally got my hair cut. Taryn finally got her hair cut.
Yeah,
Alicia wasn't a part of this. TK got her hair cut. Vanessa got it. We had basically TK's hairstylist that she's been going to for, I don't know, a year or two.
Who she trusts and she is in contact with. Yeah.
Which is such a crucial thing when it comes to hair. Like when you find your person,
oh my gosh,
you don't want to go anywhere else because they know your hair specifically.
Question. How many times did you get like your makeup or hair done for like a formal or prom and you sat there going, I love it. And then you left and cried and had to redo it. Did you do that too?
Yep, absolutely.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know. And I don't know what it is specifically with new people.
Yeah.
If I know the person and I'm comfortable with them, I'll tell them when I don't like something.
Yeah.
But with new people, when you should be picky and you should be telling them how you feel, for whatever reason, I feel like I can't.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, I'm going to give you some layers here. Would you like that? I'd be like, sure. Even though I don't
know. Like, I don't do hair. And sometimes when you're getting your hair done, it looks weird. And then they do finishing touches. And you're like, you know. Yeah. But I don't know what it was when I was young. There were so many times I'd get in the car and my mom would get so mad at me. And to her defense, she would sit there and be like, Tara, do you like it? Like,
do you like it? Do you like it?
You need to speak up. Like, if you know, so she tried with me, but I'm a 2 and I've always been so much more concerned about, like, I never want to hurt anyone's feelings, even though these ladies like could literally give a care if I was like, I don't like it, you know?
Yeah. It's not personal to them.
Yeah. But I would, without fail, I would get in the car and I'd start crying and my mom would be so frustrated because she's like, I just spent like $75, like $90 on like
your
this
hair
stuff, and you're miserable, and you're gonna go home and just do it yourself. So that's one thing I'm like, dude, if I have a girl, I'm gonna be like, look, either mama's gonna do your hair, or you better open that mouth.
Yeah, but shoot,
I don't know why that's really a thing,
rough.
but every single girl, I feel like, is like, oh yeah, I've done that.
Yeah,
you know?
even guys, just like there's a trust factor that comes into your hairstylist and you.
Totally.
So that being said, we really were excited that TK trusted this guy. He came over to our house and did all of our hair, had like a full work day.
Oh, it was like a full day. And just so, you know, all you negative Nancys, we know it's quarantine, and that's why we were too nervous to go anywhere. We took all the precautions, made sure everything was safe. But that's why it was so cool, is because like, I mean, I felt so bad. We kept offering him like snacks and drinks because he was literally here all day.
All day. He had a little lunch
doing
break.
Like color, cuts, like everything for like 4 of us. So, but this sounds so sad. He was like, blow drying my hair and just kind of like, you know, they like rub around your head. And I was like, physical touch.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. I was like, I'm getting way more out of this than you probably are comfortable with.
It was like the closest thing to a massage you've ever had in your life.
Or just like, wait, a guy touching me. I was like,
that too. Hi. Oh my God. Anyways, he cut my hair and I feel like a goddess now. Like I didn't even realize, I mean, through all of quarantine, I feel like the more people I've been talking to about all this, everyone's doing the same thing. I haven't been doing heat to my hair. I've been doing hair masks weekly. I've been doing face masks weekly. I haven't been doing my hair. I've just been letting it air dry. So for someone to not only cut it, but also style it and blow dry it and everything, I stood up and looked in the mirror and was like, I look good.
Yeah.
I haven't felt that pretty since quarantine started. Yeah. And I mean, holy crap, guys. It's so worth it. So
it definitely
obviously we all have to be careful and do whatever you're comfortable with. However, I would look into seeing what your options are, because I felt great afterwards.
No, yeah, I know. My next thing is, I heard there's like nail salons that are opening that are like, literally you're sitting in a plastic cage. Like they have, so stuff like that, where it's like, okay, you obviously spent a lot of money and resources to like come up with a solution. I'm a little bit more trusting. Like obviously I'm still gonna like wash everything and you know what I mean, but
not touch my face and keep my mask on.
But like, oh my God, my nails.
Same.
I'm having a hard time.
Just a little background story. One of the reasons Taryn and I really clicked when we first met was because we both took our nail care very seriously.
Oh my gosh.
We're both very meticulous about it. And both of us just started getting our nails done together towards the very beginning of our friendship. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh, she gets me.
It's to the point where like, if you there's been times where like you've come home and I look at your nails and I'm like, you get your nails done? And you're like, yeah, but like it was last minute and you were busy. You were out of town and like I had to. And I'm like, here. How dare you?
She gets all offended. Yeah. It's such a true thing.
We love getting our nails done. When did it start for you? Because I know we've talked about this before, because people are like, it's not a bougie thing. Like, no, that's what I want to make clear. Like, I'm probably the farthest from like a girly girl you could ever meet, but I think it started with my mom started taking me to get manicures when I was really young. Mm-hmm. And it was like our thing. So it was tied to like joyful times with my mom. And then when I got older and I started going with friends, it's always been just like a fun thing. Also, I am a little bit OCD. So like when my nails are not all even and perfect and like all covered in paint, I will fixate on it. So those are like my reasons. Yeah. Not that anyone cares, but please share, Ash.
They're like, can you get to our stories, please? I'll wrap this up really quickly. I never got my nails done growing up. I painted them myself and I got really good at it. Mm-hmm. And then when I started working, a girlfriend of mine got hers done all the time. So I started going, and it was always, that was like back when I used to go like right into like, I think my senior year of high school, college, like when I got my first job and I was starting to make my own money, that's when everyone was doing like acrylics.
Yeah.
And I hated acrylics.
They hurt.
I hated them. Yeah. I couldn't do anything. I typed, like the job that I was at, I was on the computer all the time. I couldn't type. And everything just got in the way, and my nails have always grown really fast. So I felt like I would pay all this money to get these fake nails, and then within a week and a half, they look horrible.
Gross. Yeah.
So when the whole gel polish came out, I was on board.
Yeah.
And basically ever since gel polish came out, like out here, and it was like a thing, and everyone was like, "Oh, have you tried gel polish?" I've been doing it like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Since that happened.
Since the dawn of time. Yeah.
I don't pay for my hair. I usually get my hair done like twice a year, maybe. I don't spend that much money on clothes or makeup, really. Yeah. Nails is my only thing. It's the only thing that I spend like probably too much money on, but I don't care because it's me.
Nails and massage, man.
We digress from
obviously we're fine.
We're okay, guys.
But we're a little bit missing.
I feel like, you know what? I think I want to go buy some new nail polish and do my nails today.
Something, man. Okay. I'm going to start with,
yes, please,
if it's okay with you, a tearing it up.
Take it away, Taryn.
I think this is a tearing it up. This is a story where it's like, you know, there's sentences in your life that you're like, I can't believe I can say this sentence honestly. My top is that I sat on a cake, for sure. Yeah. Like that's a fact about myself that, you know, it happened.
For those of you that don't know what a Tearing It Up is a segment that we have in our podcast. This is like a nice, fun, embarrassing story. At some point, our podcast started talking about more serious stuff. Mm-hmm. And Taryn and I decided, in an effort to keep things a little more lighthearted, that we would always add something funny into the mix. Taryn has a lot of embarrassing stories in her life, and that is why it is titled Tearing It Up.
Yeah. Thanks, Ash. Uh-huh. Okay, so this is titled "Dog Poop Was Thrown at My Face." Oh my God. It's a sentence.
It's disgusting.
Everyone right now, just in your day, just think about a sentence that you can say that you're like, I can't believe this is like an accurate thing.
Yeah.
Ash, you think of one too.
Okay.
By the end of the episode, I mean, still listen to me, but like think about
it. How do I do that?
I don't know.
Wait, so what do I have to do?
Like, think of a sentence that you can say that you're like, that's so embarrassing that I can say that about myself.
About myself.
Yeah. Like me saying I sat on a cake one time.
Got it. Okay.
That's embarrassing, but it's true.
I will work on that.
Okay. Can I say her name? Yes. Okay. Hi, I'm Allison. You can totally use my name. Oh, there it is. I am an 11-year-old from Indiana. TK's in Indiana right now.
We have a roommate who is from Indiana, and I kid you not, it's like when you are in the market for a car and you find the car that you want, and then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. Ever since I met TK, all I hear about is Indiana. Yeah, it's in movies. It's in people that I meet. They're from Indiana or they went to school in Indiana. Nonstop. I'm hearing about it nonstop, and it's weird.
She also has like the most like hometown pride of anyone I've ever met. Mm-hmm. So it's like anything Indiana that comes. Oh my gosh! I just hiccuped so hard. Did you see that? Like threw my body back.
She convulsed. Weird.
I don't know what I was saying. I'm distracted. Anyways, okay. I was spending the night at my cousin / best friend Lex's house. It was like 10 in the morning and we were still sleeping. My cousin had just gotten a dog and it was not potty trained yet. Oof. Lex's older sister, aka my older cousin, was getting ready to go to work and the dog had pooped in her room. That's the worst. She screams for Lex to pick up the poop in her room and Lex screamed no. So Kaylee, Lex's oldest sister, picks up the poop with a paper towel and sets it in her bed.
Whoa, that's a ballsy move.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you have like a sibling that you've like frequently fought with, you're hearing this like, oh, like imagining what I would do.
Yeah.
I was half awake on the floor. Lex takes the poop and paper towel and lays it at Kaylee's feet. This goes on a while, and eventually they are throwing the dog doo at each other while I am watching from my cozy little corner on the floor. Lex throws it at Kaylee and runs to her bed and puts her covers over her. Kaylee, now very mad as she is late for her shift, storms into Lex's room and throws it at her. Lex dodges it, and it hits her covers and goes flying at me. The poop hits me on the nose.
Oh my God.
This is the best. This is the best ending. And oddly enough, that isn't the first time poop has been on my face at her house. The last time it was cat poop on my lip. So that is my story. By the way, love you guys so much. Peace. I love how she wrote that. I was dying.
It's just like, oh, by the way, this has happened before.
On my lip.
She doesn't even tell us how it happened.
I know.
Oh, that was good.
Dude, that's an epic sibling fight. That's the thing. Like when you really are in it, like no one would willingly pick up poop and throw it, right? Like that's not a sentence you would say about yourself that you've ever done.
No, I don't touch it.
No. But when your sibling, like when you're in it, like heated in it, like you'll do anything to like annihilate them.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's done totally. To the death. 100%.
Did you and Alicia ever like physically fight?
No. She hit me once. She hit me once. I beat her. She's going to be pissed I'm saying this. I beat her in a game of Mario Kart.
Of course.
And she, for whatever reason, dominates me in video games.
Yeah.
My whole life. I don't know what it is. She's really good at it. Any game you put in front of her, she picks it up really quick. And I always lose.
She feeds off of it.
Yeah. Oh, whoa,
like she loves being good and then secretly just like smirking and watching you be like upset.
Struggle so hard.
Oh, yeah.
So there was one race, literally one in our childhood that I beat her really good at. And I usually am not the gloating type, but when you finally beat your little sister who constantly annoys you and beats you all the time, I was on cloud 9. I was screaming, I was yelling, I was rubbing it in her face, and she smacked me so hard on my chest.
Oh,
it
really?
Sounds so weird. We were sitting like pretzel style in front of the TV right next to each other. So she wasn't in like a good place to like slap me.
Yeah.
So all she does is she takes her left hand, because I was sitting on her left hand side, and she throws it back like this.
So she like backhanded your chest.
Backhanded my chest and broke the necklace I was wearing. That's how hard it was.
Oh my God.
She immediately starts crying and apologizing. I think it scared her.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think she realized like what was about to happen. And I immediately start crying, and my mom and dad saw the whole thing, and she was in so much trouble. But that's the only physical thing that's ever happened between us. But it is different with sisters, specifically us, because we're just more, we have chiller personalities. Every fight we ever had was very mental and very like backstabbing words and very passive aggressive. Like it's not punch and done. It's like, how can I, in the meanest, slyest way, tell you you're being a bitch?
Yeah.
You know, how do I get you back and to where you sit there and you go, oh, that was rude, you know, you have to think about it. It's so weird.
See, I can be that way where I'm like, I will hurt you with words, but with brothers, it's like it is really true. Like guys just like physically fight and then they move on and they're fine. And that's from a young age, because me and Brett are less than 2 years apart. So like, we were always together. We definitely like butted heads growing up.
Which is funny because you guys really click now, I feel like.
Oh yeah. My brothers like are my freaking everything. I love them to death. But growing up, we were I think because like I was emotional and he wasn't, like it was just a hard dynamic.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, I remember a couple fights that started like that, like where I would just react and like smack him, and then he would get this look in his eye, and then I'd just be like, Mom! And like run, and then we just end up like hitting each other. But yeah, we still are pretty like physical with each other, more in like joking, like where we'll just like slap each other or like chase each other if I'm like I did something annoying, and Ryan's like, I'm gonna attack you. Hey guys, we just wanted to take a second to just say thank you for being a part of our little Unsolicited Advice family.
We love you guys so much, and it would mean so much to us if you would rate, review, subscribe, and share our podcast. Spread the word, spread the love.
Yes.
Give advice to everyone. Advice for you, advice for your mom, advice for your friends. Change the world. Help us get the word out there. And that would mean so much to us. And back to the show.
All right, should we get into it?
Yes. Okay.
I can start with mine.
Oh, sure.
I have it all up, so I'm ready.
She's like, I'm ready, and you're clearly not. So,
okay, my story today is from Anonymous, and it is titled "Trouble in My 20s: Navigating the Life of a Young Introverted Entrepreneur."
Ooh,
right? I was like, "Ooh, this sounds interesting."
Remember when we were in our 20s?
Good times.
Oh,
R.I.P. Honestly, loved my 20s. Would do it all over again the exact same way. All right. So she begins. Hey, Ashley and Taryn. Hey, girl.
Hi.
First of all, I love your podcast. It's the only reason why I look forward to Mondays, and it's probably also the only reason I lasted so long at my last job.
What?
I mean,
like,
I kind of get that. I was like, that's pretty cool. When I found a podcast that like really drew me in,
yeah,
I listened to it 24/7. So if I had a job where I could listen to it while I was working,
yeah,
that'd be the ticket. Or I would get no work done. I don't know. It depends on. Sometimes I don't know about that. Sorry. Okay. She continues. I really hope you pick this letter because I could use some guidance. I don't have a big sister to ask, and although my mom and I are very close, she's still my mom, and sometimes her advice is hard to accept when I'm 23 and haven't really gained the life experience like she has. Hopefully that makes sense.
I love that.
I love that too.
We're like her big sis.
I love that. It's like we're all here in a room talking about you. Okay.
Love it.
Here's some background. So I graduated college a year ago with a bachelor's degree. Kind of bumped around life looking for what I wanted to do and making a lot of mistakes along the way. Don't get me wrong, these mistakes made me the person that I am today, which I am extremely proud of myself. I started my own business using knowledge from my degree and also learning a lot on my own. I met an amazing guy who makes me proud to be his girlfriend and made me want to be a better person every day.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Love that for you. I started exercising and really trying to treat my body with more love. I love the life that I have today. I have been having a lot of trouble as of late with some general life issues. I have a few friends in the close vicinity of me. A few months ago, I had to cut out my toxic best friendship.
Oof.
Although she was not close to me in distance, we talked every single day constantly. I miss her, but I learned it was for the best. I would love to find a new friend, but it's not like it was in the good old days where you can just walk up
oh my gosh, so
to
true.
someone and ask for them to be your best friend, you know? I also spend most of my time thinking about the business, adding more, learning more, making it more successful. So do you have any advice for a 23-year-old introvert looking for a best friend while running a business and trying to build a life? If it helps, I'm an Enneagram 6.
Ooh.
The other problem is an ex of mine is, for whatever reason, trying to cause issues. Understand, I haven't had any contact with him, but he's tweeting things about me and the business without actually putting my name on it. Subtweeting, I think is what it's called. And it drives me crazy when people do this. I think it's the action of a coward. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, fully.
I don't understand the purpose of his starting issues because he has a girlfriend. Anyway, I don't care what he thinks at all, but still stings when people put you down. I know that I'm dating an amazing guy, and this ex only reinforces the fact that I am so lucky I got out of that unhealthy relationship. How do I handle hate? I guess is my question. How do I handle the anger that comes with people making comments towards me and my business? To me, it's like someone insulting me and my kid, you know? The business is my child, and all I want to do is go on the defensive side, but I can't. How do you handle an ex that just won't let go of the past? I really, really hope you pick my email. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. Love you, Anonymous.
Ooh, that's like a twofold one.
It's a twofold one. Yeah. So first of all, she's 23 and she has her own company.
Yeah, girl.
Bravo.
You're freaking killing it.
Look at you go. That is incredible. That's such a young age.
I know.
And that just makes me pumped for you because clearly you've got an exciting future ahead of you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't even, if I even wanted to start a business, I wouldn't even know like where to start whatsoever. So it's so cool that people can do that. Like that's like a total like skill and gift that you've been given. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. And as far as the friendship stuff goes, this is kind of a sucky time to be struggling and wanting new friends. This whole year sucks for everyone, but specifically when it comes to relationships, I feel like everyone is either doing really well or not doing well.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the extremes. So trying to find new friends right now is definitely going to be hard.
Yeah.
And it's going to require a lot more work than you're probably wanting to put into it. So with the breast, oh my God,
you said breasts.
So with the, damn it, with the best friend situation, I think what you need to do is find friends, and this will take time because of just the situation that our world is in right now, but find friends that are also doing work first, like prioritizing their career. I think it's really important, and I think we kind of don't think about it, but whatever we prioritize or whatever our goals are, it's so important to have people that have like-minded goals
and
true. Like-minded beliefs and core values. It's important in a marriage. It's important in a relationship, like you and your boyfriend. It's also important in friendships. I don't think it's necessary. I think you should have friends that do all kinds of things that challenge you and have different thoughts. But I think when it comes to a really close person in your life, like a relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or a best friendship, I think having core values is really important. At the age you're at, I also lost a friend around that time. And looking back now, it just became so apparent that it was like, we were both headed in very different directions.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with her. It had nothing to do with me. But we wanted different things out of life.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those ages where it just, you start to really realize like, hey, here's where my life could go. Do I want to stay here and do this, or do I want to head this way?
Yeah. It's a really like interesting balance of either it is like a childhood friend that either there's a foundation there that is strong enough to overpower the fact that you don't have anything in common anymore. I have friendships like that for sure. Or like you said, like I think when you get older, it feels more awkward to like reach out and make friends, but in reality, like it isn't. You know what I mean? Like I've had friends that have straight up like DM'd someone on Instagram and been like, oh my God, like I love like your style. Like you seem like such a cool person. Like we should totally like hang out. And they've started a friendship that way. So like when you do get older, it's less weird. Like there's been people I've just met in life that are like, hey, like, oh my God, like I've been like wanting to like reach out and like have more friendships. Like we should get coffee. And I'm like, okay, like that's cool. You know, also like me and Ash met kind of around that age. Well, how old were we?
No, I
25?
was 25. Yeah, I think.
But like in that vicinity, like 20s.
Yeah.
And it was literally just like we met at church. Like we got lunch after playing somewhere, and then we just like kind of like hit it off. And so don't stress too much, because I think relationships just form naturally, like when you kind of least expect it. But also it's okay to like reach out to people too and just say like, hey, I see that you like started a business. Like I actually just started a business, and just like start conversations organically, you know? So, that would be my thing. Like find platforms, find groups. Obviously, again, it's hard in this time, but I wouldn't be afraid to like start just like reaching out, like maybe follow a couple girls that you're like, oh, they seem like cool. And you know, like they live in my area. They're into the stuff I am. And I don't think it's weird to like reach out.
I don't think it's weird at all.
No.
And I think what you'll see if and when you do, is that they are wanting the same thing.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I realize that whenever I do reach out towards people, they appreciate it so much, and then they reciprocate it if they want like a friendship out of it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I just went on a morning hike with a friend of mine who went out of her way when she moved out to LA to make friends because she didn't have friends.
Yeah.
And I remember her being like, hey, like I didn't even know her. I knew her through a mutual acquaintance. And she was like, hey, my friend said you lived out here. I'd love to get coffee sometime. I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
You know, just finding my footing out here. And I was like, oh, absolutely. Like, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And we're still friends a few years later.
Yeah.
And she was very open about saying, hey, like, I don't know anyone out here. I don't have any friends out here, and I'd love to hang out with you.
Yeah, no, I love that.
And it was so open and transparent. And I was like, I would love that too. That'd be great, you know? So she became like a really close friend that I don't see all the time, but I see a lot, and we talk constantly.
Yeah.
So I think you can be bold.
Yeah.
I think people would appreciate you being bold.
No, I totally agree. I think you definitely should.
I think it'd be refreshing for you to just open up and say almost straightforward exactly what you're looking for, you know? As far as the guy,
exes,
ew, the subtweeting thing, is cowardly and, very like passive of him for him to not even like really put your name on there.
Yeah. Like, get over yourself. Like, that's so annoying.
Without knowing exactly what the tweet said, about you, it's hard to guess like where this hatred's coming from. The only thing I could think of is if he's with a girlfriend and he's happy and you're with a guy and you're happy, then he must be jealous of something. Probably the career, the business that you've, you know, created for yourself. You know, again, it's hard to know without reading the tweets, but he sounds unstable and he sounds weirdly attached to you still. So me being the passive 9 that I am, I would just block and not respond. But, I mean, you could also, if you are a more, outgoing person, you could also send him an email and be like, hey, I don't appreciate this. This is not necessary. If you have something to say, like, say it to my face, but you know,
yeah,
what you're doing is so immature. So if you have something, tell me, but you don't have to do this, you know.
You should just find an article about a case that was won by someone who sued someone for slander
and just email it to him.
Just email him that and be like, hope you have a great day.
Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up that this happened.
The difference of our approaches.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll sue you. Yeah, obviously, like, I mean, obviously he's still holding on to something. So, you know, the answer we want to say is just to ignore him. But obviously that's easier said than done.
But it is different when he's coming after your brand, your company that you've created as well.
So
that's
dumb.
A different thing. That's not him just, you know, sliding in and causing drama. That's him coming after you.
Yeah. Also, career. Like, anybody who hears him is probably like, what is he even talking about? You know what I mean? Like, so that's
100%.
It's so dumb. Exes are such a hard thing. And I always feel so bad. I think with what me and Ash do, like our podcast, you know, like we're constantly sharing a lot about ourselves because it's like a give and take thing. Like, you guys are always sending in personal stories. So we try to do a good job of like sharing our personal lives too. So it's like, you know, like that trust, like relationship. But a lot of times stories are sent in of problems in relationships, right? So like the stuff that we have to offer up is like the negative things that came in our lives. Yeah. And so I sometimes feel like guilty or bad because I'm constantly talking about like things that were unhealthy in my relationships or whatever. And there's been times where even I've been like, oh, like if he ever listened to this podcast, like he would probably be so bummed that I'm like constantly talking about these certain things, when in reality there was a lot of good that was in that relationship too. It's just not relevant sometimes to like the stories and things we're sharing. The difference is I'm sharing my side of things that happen. I'm not airing any of like personal details or attacking him in any way, because no matter what has happened, like he was someone that like I loved, and I still to this day like don't wish any harm on him. And if I ever saw him, would be like completely cordial, because we both moved on and knew like it was best for us not to be with each other, you know,
mutually
like
beneficial to
like I also had a lot of fault in that relationship too. Like it wasn't just him. So that is something where it's like, I think if you're in a healthy place, you've moved on, you don't wish this person any harm, and you're mature enough to be in that place, you're not going to be tweeting random things. You know what I mean? Like, even me sharing stuff, there's a purpose to it because of the platform of the podcast. But I would never be going online and just like, oh, I remember when my ex, blah, 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 or like attacking him and where he is in his life now. Like there's no reason for me to do that unless I had some attachment still to him or some bitterness still towards him. So I think what he's doing is very clearly stating that he's not over the relationship, or he's hanging on to some type of like
hurt
contentment towards you. Yeah. So, I mean, you can always take that approach of, if you feel like you need to address it, just being like, hey, I don't really understand the need for you saying these things. So I just wanted to check in. Like, is there something like you're angry about? Is there something you'd like to talk about? But I think it's also okay for you to just, like Ash said, just like block him, out of sight, out of mind, move on with your life, because he's just throwing like a tantrum, basically. It sounds like to me anyways.
Yeah. So congrats on getting out of that relationship.
Yeah. Like how, what man is going to go on Twitter and like talk crap? Like that's so dumb.
It's beneath the character you thought they had.
Yeah. And his poor girlfriend, like if I was dating someone and he was tweeting about his ex, I'd be like,
I'd be pissed. I'd be gone so fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations on getting out of that.
Yeah.
He clearly has some stuff he has to deal with still. And I'm so happy that you're happy with your guy and your, business is booming. Like that's so many things to be grateful for.
How old is she?
She's 23.
Oh girl, get ready. Those are the best years. Like coming into like 25, 26, like those are awesome. Yeah. So you're already set up for such a cool life. So I would just be proactive and take moments, create healthy boundaries. But I think you're going to literally like soar. It's going to be great.
Yeah. And he's clearly being a hater, but I mean, haters are part of life. Haters gonna hate. Haters make you famous.
Drinking that haterade.
I'm trying to think of every hater quote I've ever heard. I mean, haters are just a part of life. And I think what you can do, it sounds like you're this type of person already, is I would use that to propel you forward and make sure that you don't let it drag you down, because they clearly have hurt in their lives that they need to deal with. And you're beyond that. You're past that.
Yeah.
You have so much ahead of you. So keep moving forward.
Yes.
And I wouldn't even give him the time of day. I would focus on friendships.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Fully.
Go make those girlfriends. That'll be great.
Fully. Love that. Okay. All right. So this one was titled The Marriage Pact I Made as a Teenager.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
Whoa. Ballsy. I always wanted to have someone to do that with.
I don't think I have one.
I don't have one.
Like if we're 40 and not married. Dang.
10 years from now, I'm like, shoot. I was like, I should find someone now is what I should do.
I know.
Because to be honest, like, well, we'll get into that later. But like, if you're too young and you're like, oh, I'll do it when I'm 30. I'm like, well, shit, now I'm 30. So yeah, girl. Maybe I'll like find someone now, because I feel like 40 is more along the lines like, hey, we could be partners, we could do this, Anyways, okay, let's get into the story.
Hey, Ashley and Taryn, so sorry if I spelled anything wrong. It's fine. I'm so used to my name being spelled wrong.
You mean Karen?
Ashley. Oh no. I would like to remain anonymous, or you can come up with a name for me. We'll just leave you anonymous. I feel like every time we say anonymous, it's like its own character.
Anonymous is its own character. Yeah. It's its own person.
Yeah. So I want to begin with saying that I love you both and your podcast is amazing.
Stop it.
Thanks.
Too kind.
I know. This is my story. Let's start from the beginning. When I was 13, I had one of my very close friends over. The whole thing started by me telling him the results of a kiss, marry, kill game. I don't know why. I don't like that game.
Because I get it. It's hard.
Don't like killing someone.
Yeah. Well, that's a good sign.
Even mentally.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, just because I don't want to kiss or marry you, like, you don't deserve to die.
Yeah.
That's on me, bro. That's on me. Okay.
That's on period.
And that's on period. I had said marry him, and he had said me as well. We got to talking, and we basically planned our entire life together. So then we made the pact. The pact was that if neither of us were in a relationship by 22, we would marry each other, which, by the way,
that's way too young to put that.
That does sound very young, but also, like, I've known plenty of people that have gotten married that young.
Yeah.
And are extremely happy and
me too.
Thrived. So.
I mean, when you know, you know. I just haven't had that feeling.
We just
yet.
Don't know. Fast forward a couple of years, we're both 22. Neither of us were in a relationship, and I had just graduated from Harvard with a degree in psychology.
Okay, Harvard.
Okay, girl. Okay.
Harvard.
She knows what she's doing. Okay.
I guess I don't question anything.
Now I'm like, oh, that's fine. You're fine. Get married. You're so smart.
You're smart.
He called me and asked me to meet up, and we did. I couldn't believe that he had remembered our pact. So, long story short, we are engaged.
Oh,
I know.
Whoa.
She totally. I'm like, girl, I need the meat. Like, I want to know how this happened.
Can we contact her?
Maybe we should.
We
definitely.
have never done. We have never like straight up emailed someone and been like, hey, can we get more details?
We should do that. Like,
we haven't.
Like, when I read this, I obviously at that part was like, I want to know more. I should have reached out.
Like, did they date for a while first? Did they just jump into the engagement?
I don't know.
Did he like pursue her in any way, or was it like,
oh, this is a joke? And then they were like, oh my gosh, I actually caught
there's
feelings.
so many possible options.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know. So what did she say? Oh, so long story short, we're engaged, and we are literally made for each other. We agree and have so much in common, but we also can fight and get over it, which I think is good.
That's good. It's a healthy balance.
Yeah.
Relationships that don't fight leave me with questions.
I always am like, okay, but like,
how do
really?
you not fight? And me being the non-confrontational person is still like, how do you not fight?
Yeah, no, totally. I love fighting.
I don't, but I do it.
It's exciting.
It happens. It's natural.
He understands me and I understand him. The only problem is that my parents don't approve of the engagement. They don't think that we really love each other, and they think that we are rushing into it. But I love him, and I know that if they could just understand, they would accept my decision. What should I do? Am I making a bad decision? I really hope you read this. And if you've made it this far, thank you. And I hope you can give me some advice. Love, Anonymous.
Wow.
And that's the tea.
And that is the tea.
I freaking like, well, okay. So there's different parts to this. First of all, I don't think that we can really address if you're making a mistake, because
we don't know enough.
We would have to know so much more. So,
for example, did you date at all, or did you jump right into this?
Yes.
That's a big question in my head.
Yes. I do think if you're meant to be with a person, there's no rush. It shouldn't feel rushed.
Right.
So I think that, I've seen people that are like, oh, I know I want to marry him. And so they rush the whole marriage and they miss out on just the dating part, which I think
getting to learn about each other
is the funnest part. Yeah.
Yes.
So I would say, like, if you guys literally just met up and were like, oh, remember the pact, let's get married, and then just went for it, then maybe I would say, well, what's the harm in, like, I mean, you are young, 22 is young. So what's the harm in like being like, hey, like, yes, I do want to marry you, but like, let's just date a year. Like, let's have fun. Let's date. Let's get to know each other in this way, because it sounds like you've had time apart.
Just
I think
graduated
that's
Harvard.
Wise.
You have clearly a lot going on for you, a good future ahead of you, probably.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, it's interesting. You want to jump straight into marriage first.
Yeah. There is,
that is a question.
And that's fine. Like with some people, that's fine. Like they're like, well, I knew, and why would I wait? Like I just wanted to get married. But I would say, I would just take into consideration, like, well, have we actually like dated? Have we experienced just what it's like to date each other? You do change a lot in the years you're about to approach. So I definitely wouldn't rush it. But if you guys have been dating for a while, you obviously knew each other because you were best friends before, and it feels right, then like by all means, like, you know yourself, like, you know what's good for you. The parents thing is hard because that would be like earth shattering for me if my parents didn't like someone I was gonna be engaged with. So I would consider that into something too, of sitting with them and really breaking down like, okay, I understand that this feels foreign and weird, but like, I don't know, like, sit with them and like explain it to them, have them like be like, ask me questions, like, let's sit and talk about it. And maybe if you're able to like sit and present it in a certain way and like answer their questions or doubts, maybe they can get on board. But I think ultimately, like, we kind of come to a place when we get older of like, it is our life and we have to like be okay with that. But also, if your relationship with your parents is very important, then I think it deserves taking time to like try to win them over to it.
Absolutely. Just to throw it on top of what Taryn already said, because I agree with her. I think it's really important to pay attention to the close people in your life and hear their opinions when you're dating someone.
Yes.
I think that you're your own person. You're obviously old enough to make your own decisions. But I do think being in love, especially like falling in love quickly, can kind of blind you to things that you're just not looking for.
Yeah.
Because you're so happy, which is wonderful. And that's such a great place to be in. But when you're in that place, I think you just simply skip over some things because you're just too joyful to even think about it. But the people in your life, like your siblings, like your parents or aunts and uncles or best friends, they're the ones that are going to see those things. And as a best friend or a parent or a family member or whatever, it is their job to tell you. Yeah. It is literally their duty. Yeah. As being that person in your life to be like, hey, this is a red flag. You need to look at it. I was in a relationship for a while. This was a long time ago. And I was obsessed. And I was like, we weren't engaged, but we were very serious. And my sister and my parents both none of them liked them.
Oh gosh, that's so hard.
And it irked me and it annoyed me, but I didn't care. I was like, no, like, this guy's great. Yeah. I found a keeper. This is happening. Eventually, I like the love part kind of calmed down. I wasn't out of love with him, but it calmed down enough for me to be like,
infatuation.
I was like, why do they not like him? And then the more that I like talked to them about it, the more I understood their side. And then eventually I ended up breaking it up with him because I understood their side so much better. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it wouldn't be a good marriage. Like, it wouldn't work out well for both of us. I'm saving us heartbreak and, who knows how many years of like, emotional ties together by ending it now. Yeah. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen to you, but I'm saying that my parents and my sister saw something that I couldn't see at that time. Yeah. So I do think it's important to start an open and honest conversation with your parents so that you can present your side and they can fully understand where you're coming from, but so that you can also be open to hearing where they're coming from. Yeah. Because if they're saying something, they're genuinely concerned. They don't want you to be unhappy or break things up. They just want you to have a happy, healthy life. Yeah. So you need to have that conversation with your parents.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's where I fell into that trap of like wanting to protect the image of my relationship. Yeah. So I didn't talk about the bad stuff to like friends or family, or even the stuff that I was just confused of like, wait, is this normal? Like, I've never been in a relationship, so I don't know, like, is this how it's supposed to be? Like, yeah, I didn't talk to anyone because I wanted people to like him. Like,
I didn't want. Funny how like protective you get over
Oh my gosh, especially like
even when they're doing the worst stuff possible, you're still protecting them. It's weird.
No, like I said earlier, even to this day, every time I tell like something that was like a bad story, I immediately am like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, let me tell a good story now. Cause like he was amazing in a lot of ways. So it's amazing how you just like have that urge to like protect their image and how people see them. So I think I can like relate to that for sure. But it is important, like Ash was saying, to like just voice things and to hear what people have to say. At the end of the day, like you make your own decision, but you know, if you have a healthy relationship with your parents and they're people that you respect their judgment and things like that, then I think it's worth just like hearing what they have to say and talking to him about it too. And just being like, hey, like, you know, maybe we are kind of going a little fast. Like, are you cool if we have like a year engagement, you know, and like, let's just the first like
Stretch
6
it out.
months,
Take your
like,
time.
Yeah, let's just date the first 6 months and like have fun with that. And then we can start planning. But, yeah, I would definitely listen to what they have to say, but you know yourself too.
I know so many people, so many couples that had extremely long engagements, like over a year. Because they knew they had stuff to work through. They had stuff they wanted to finish first. A lot of them were going through school. Yeah. A lot of them were completing their masters or something that they said, I listen, I love you. I know I'm going to marry you, but I have some things I want to finish first.
Yeah.
So they got engaged and they stayed engaged up until they completed their tasks, they met their goals, and then they got married.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I was like, that's brilliant, because if you know, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, you found your person, good for you, put a ring on it. I get that. Like, that's incredible. I would want to do the same thing. But yeah, maybe take your time. Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah. Again, we don't really know many details, so we're just reaching right now.
Anonymous, if you wanted to email us or DM us with some more details.
I will say though, that is the cutest how you guys meet story.
It is like, very adorable.
Oh my gosh, freaking made a pact when we were 13.
Dude, if that worked out, I would just tell everyone I came across, yeah, this is my husband. We like made a pact and we did
it's so cute. I mean, at this rate, me and Ash, our story is going to be like, oh, there was a worldwide pandemic and we got lonely. So we went on a dating app and we met. And then it blossomed into something beautiful, but that's the rate we're going right now.
Yeah. So good luck with everything. I really hope you have that conversation with your parents. I think that's going to be a game changer. And excited for you.
This was a great episode.
I feel uplifted. I feel encouraged. I feel like they feel encouraged. I think we did a good job.
I mean, we did.
Love the confidence.
Gonna end with a dad joke.
Taryn loves ending our episodes with dad jokes.
I know. I just love the humor, you know. It's not for everyone, as we've learned, but it's fine. Okay. I wrote a song about a tortilla. Well, it's actually more of a rap. Get it?
Yeah.
WR.
Yep. I got it. I was there. That was good. That was a good one. Turner. Well done.
Thanks.
That's why you did it on the break. You were trying to find it.
I was, but then I messed up because I was looking for the laughing one and that was the clapping. So
anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. If you've stuck around this long, that means you're the real MVPs. You're the diehards, and we have a little message for you. If you have a story in your life that you want advice on, that you just want to share, that's funny or that's serious or that's sad or that's just been on your heart lately, or you need to talk to someone, this is your time. Send it to us. Yes. We want to hear it. The audience wants to hear it. This is beneficial for everyone involved. So this is your time. No, I'm calling you out.
Let's give like a real secret message.
Oh.
Okay. If you're listening. Go to our Instagram. And the I'm trying to be like creative, but I also am like tired. Okay. Go to our Instagram and the post that we posted for today's episode, comment a pineapple.
And everyone will be like, what's going on with the pineapples? Ooh.
And we'll be like, we see you.
And we'll know who you are.
Appreciate you.
Love that.
That's it.
Until then.
Until then.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.